Dream Chasers, what's going on? General Moses in the building with another rock star, or should I say, house music star, to get to know, talk a little Tool Room, talk a little bit of Toolroom Academy, all that fun stuff. We have the legendary, all the way, by the way, all the way from Japan. I don't know what city. We didn't talk about that yet, but I'm sure we will. She's making time to connect with me on the other side of the globe right now, so we can get this interview done. I want to welcome to the stage Saeri. Saeri, again, thank you for coming on the show today. And yeah, for our listeners who are unfamiliar with you and your work, could you just tell us a little bit about where you're from? Because I know it's a little bit atypical for our industry, and
Mhm.
how you got into house music.
Yeah, so I'm based in Tokyo, Japan, so
Oh,
I'm
are you
very
actually in Tokyo?
far. Yeah,
Oh, sweet, nice. I've been there. I didn't realize. Okay.
yeah, and I'm a producer. I make house music, mostly tech house, deep tech, and I'm also a DJ, but I haven't actually been DJing too much, but I'm starting to get into that a lot more. I'm planning on DJing more frequently in Tokyo, so if you ever come to Tokyo, let me know. You can DM me on Instagram. Yeah, that's really about it, I guess.
Could you tell us? Because we had, I'm sure you know, Sam Troy now, who he was on the Leaders of the
Yeah.
compilation with you and I. And we had him on the show. He was awesome to get to know. Kind of shared a little bit about the tech house scene in Japan. Um, but yeah, could you kind of describe, like, what's it like? I saw you were just at Miami Music Week, which, by the way, bravo for, like, am I right? Did I see that
Yeah.
you drove you flew across the world to be there? I think anyone who is a up and coming artist, unless you have a really, 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 really good reason to not be there and you're trying to take this career path seriously, you got to do stuff like what you just did, which is go to Miami, meet people face to face. And trust me, I wish I was there, but we also had my daughter that same week. So
Oh, oh
otherwise,
my God, congratulations.
thank you. But yeah, on that note, like, comparatively, what do you see as the difference between Japan and the tech house music scene compared
I
to other
mean,
other parts around the world?
compared to Miami, it's just a lot smaller. Um, yeah, but like I feel like there's a tight-knit community in Japan because there are like fewer of us who are DJing and making house music. And they're still doing a lot of different events. People are starting their own parties and brands and labels. So it's like really nice to see everyone do their own thing. Um, Yeah, and people are really nice. I just wish the scene was a lot larger. Um, and just because like if you go to some of these events, there just aren't as many people on the dance floor. And obviously if you go to places like Miami, like everyone is used to listening to house music and they'll dance. I think people can be a little bit more shy in Japan, and so they have to drink a lot before they can really get comfortable on the dance floor and stuff. So it is a little bit more of a calmer scene maybe. And maybe fewer people involved in it, but I think it's still really good. And yeah, I've been blessed to with like a lot of different people, different network, and yeah, I'm hoping to get more involved in the scenes here. I'm like actually pretty new, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be a lot of potential there, just given the amount of the population of Japan, right? Like, it's not small. So
Mhm.
Sam Troy was talking about that too. He said it is different there, but there is still a scene that exists. And did you know him before you guys got into the tool room world?
No, I actually found out when I saw the release and who was on it. And then I was like, wait, this guy's actually in Japan. I've actually never met him like physically, yeah, because he's in Fukuoka, which is a different city. But
Is
yeah,
that a bit, is that
hopefully
on a
soon.
different is it on a different island too? Or is it the same island?
Uh, I guess technically a different island.
Yeah. We'll have to do a Japan screen share here during the interview. But yeah, shifting gears, could you just tell like us how you first discovered Tool Room, the label? We'll talk about the Academy soon, but do you remember your first Tool Room moment? How did you first discover the label?
I actually don't because I've been listening to dance music from when I was in like middle school, and I think the first time I listened to Mark Knight was like 2008 or something. That I
Okay.
like, sort of remember, but then from there I've just been listening to a lot of different songs, and I probably got exposed to a lot of different touring records, but I don't really have like a specific moment I really like identified like a touring record or like identify myself with it. I think I was listening to it a lot in like 2015, 16. Well, that's when I started listening to more songs and I started really recognizing as a label. And then 2018, 2019, I was listening to a lot of their songs. So yeah, I guess tech house is also like becoming bigger and bigger from around those years. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
sounds sounds similar to I'd say to my exposure to what since you don't remember a specific moment, I'm just curious, what's like the one record that does kind of stand out to you from Tool Room? Like early on in your music journey. Like is there any one record you're like, oh man, I do remember I really like that one.
I actually don't really have like I don't know, like I loved a lot of the Mark Knight releases in like 2015, 2016, I guess. I think they were doing a lot of like piano house too. Um, so yeah, like I really liked those. Yeah, I mean, and then like I guess like they did a compilation in 2018, 2019. So I was listening to the compilation album a lot too, on repeat. But I think it's just like I listened to so many of their songs that I'm more like immersed in their sounds, but it's not like I got like one or two records I really, really, really loved, and that was like a key moment for me, I guess.
So what okay. So how did you that's fine. That's actually the first time we ever had that response, so it is unique. Um how did you discover the Academy?
Um, So I also don't quite remember. I remember like finding the website and reading through it. I actually don't know where I exactly found it, which is really strange because I have relatively good memory. But I think at the time I was looking to get back into music. So this is like 2020 when COVID had hit. And I was doing like sort of music production here and there, like from a few years back. But then I wasn't taking it seriously, and I also was more like a self-taught producer, so I wasn't really going anywhere. So I was getting stuck. So maybe I think I was like researching about like where maybe I could like go learn it somewhere from people who actually know what they're doing. And Toolroom Academy just had everything I was looking for. So I like relearned everything. Like I did production certificate course in 2020, and that's really like to get all the basics down on how to make a song. I mean, tech house song, and I was already making music from before, but I think it was just like nice to retrain myself and get all the basics really solid, like down, before I moved on because I felt like it was important to just like kind of have a solid base. Because yeah, I don't really believe in like self-teaching yourself everything and like just going to like random YouTube videos and picking up little tricks here and there. It's just like a little bit unorganized. And I don't think it's the best way to learn, especially if you really want to get good at something, you're really serious about it. So yeah, it was really helpful in that sense when I first did it with them in 2020.
Let's talk about your record, Lose Yourself, which you got signed to the label. Congratulations. That's a really big deal. You know, I've found more and more there's people that, you know, work for a decade to get one, you know, one track signed to Tool Room. And whether it's Leaders in the New School, tracks, kind of like the main label, you name it, like this is a huge accomplishment. So congratulations. What was the process like for you on that? Did you submit it kind of like through a traditional A&R way? Did you win the best record in your like when you were in the academy? Were you the one that kind of got chosen? Like how did that all happen where your track?
No, so I've been trying Tourum for a few years since 2020, and I had submitted like some tracks to them through the demo box and then did like a few remix competitions that they
Okay.
had hosted. So I had submitted a few demos before, and then this one I made and I felt like it's worth sending. So I just went to the alumni demo box, which is like a separate box that you can send once you've done a course with them. And then I got a response and they decided to sign it finally. So I was like, yeah, like it was like a huge moment for me because I've been trying so many times. So it
Yeah.
was really nice to get that signed. Yeah.
Let's talk about that because that's a recurring theme. I think a lot of producers and DJs need to hear, myself included. I want to hear your story on this again too. What was it like sending stuff in and then not, you know, basically how have you handled rejection? Because that's a really big thing you got to overcome in this industry.
Um, it's tough. It's really tough because like you know this, but when you make a song, it takes a lot of hours and you obviously are putting in a lot of different like I mean, you're putting a lot of different thoughts into it and trying really hard. Um,
And it's your art,
Last
right?
year,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
your
and you're like
baby.
personally invested in it. Um, I actually started making rejection counter. I don't know if this is like a good thing or not, but like you can see it. Like I was like physically writing down tallies. And but like when you see it in front of yourself, like you can see how much you're trying and how many tries you're actually making. And so it's like at least you're making an effort and you're going somewhere.
I love that. Wait,
Um,
so you have a rejection counter.
yeah.
That's like that probably my biggest takeaway from this interview right now. I'm gonna make one too. That's a really good idea.
But now I organize everything on a spreadsheet. So I just keep track of all the songs I've made and where I've submitted and like when I submitted it and then whether I got a response or not, or if I got rejected and I just keep track of it. So it's nice to get it's like easier to get stats, I guess. Um, but it's like also keeps you like organized and you can remember which songs you have and where you submit it and you can maybe try submitting to different labels after that. And yeah, it's just the way I do things now, but yeah.
I love it. No, I honestly, I'm sure there's plenty of artists out there that do something similar too. I haven't gotten organized to that level. I think creating a spreadsheet for all the records I've made and I'm working on, that sounds like a really good idea and relatively manageable too. So I just got two great ideas from you. So thank you. I've never even really taken that serious. What are you working on right now? I know, right? I know we're always working on stuff, right? What are you excited about? What are you working on right now that you're really looking forward to?
I'm just making music. So I do a little because I have a full-time job, so I can't dedicate like a whole chunk of time at once, but I do
Sure.
like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours each day after work. And I just like before I was worried about like aligning myself to a certain sound and like developing my artistic style, but right now I'm just still kind of exploring. I'm just making whatever I'm in the mood for. So I'm making more like Toolroom tech house stuff and also more like a minimal underground, like deep tech kind of stuff. So
Okay.
just kind of still experimenting about making music always.
Yeah, you got to keep the process enjoyable. And I think I heard Graham Farmer talk about it on an interview or something like that, where uh there's no rules. Like you can make whatever you want. It's just be strategic with your releases. Like if you're gonna have a bunch of
Mm.
different sounds that you're creating, you might create a confused audience by just putting it all out there, but there's no reason to not just make it all if you're feeling it. Are you making any techno? Just like
Mm,
straight up techno?
not straight up techno.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still like house, but
I
yeah.
always talk about it on the show now. I feel like there's my observation is deep down within every tech house producer, there's this urge to make techno. So see if that ring comes true for you or if I'm just getting it wrong.
Maybe in like a few months to a year, I might be there. A lot of my friends are there too. Like they're releasing like deep tech, like house stuff, and then when I meet up with them to make music, they're like making techno.
What I really want to know this one. What's your dream venue to play at?
Um, I mean, I'm not like super well traveled, but I really like Amnesia in Ibiza. Have
Okay.
you been?
I haven't been. You've been to Ibiza? I still haven't been yet.
It's a huge club. It like basically is like a warehouse. It's like in the middle of nowhere. It's like
Yeah.
a freeway and there's like a huge warehouse and that's the club. But yeah, I really love it there and it will be great if one day I can do this professionally and DJ there.
Yeah. Heck yeah. What about where do you think would be the best place to play in Japan? And what I mean by that actually it's two questions at once. What would be like the best kind of like underground, more like intimate, low key venue to play at in Japan, where maybe only like 200 people can fit in the place in the first place? And then what would be like the grand venue to play at in Japan?
Um, Honestly, I'm like haven't gone to that many clubs in Japan either because I don't have time. But in Japan, there are a lot of like really more like chill music lounges and bars. So like if you're looking for intimate setting, like those could be a really nice place and you just play more of like a laid back deep house or something. Um, there's also a place called Or Tokyo. It's in Shibuya. I've been going there
Oh,
quite
nice.
frequently, and I think it's pretty new, but there are three different floors and three different like I guess DJ booth, and they're always playing different kind of music there. But the third floor is like really nice. The sound system is pretty great, and
What's it called?
it's like not too small. Or
Okay.
Tokyo.
All right, nice.
Yeah, it's like not too small, but it is also like big enough, and it does still feel intimate, but it is like a nice club.
I just realized because earlier I said I was gonna do some screen share. Oh, here it is. Found it. Let's do this. Or all right, everybody who's watching right now. I know if you're listening, you can't see it, but if you're watching, everyone tuned in. We're going here one day. We're all going to Or. That's got to be the top floor right there. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the top floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks pretty cool. Let's see. And you said it's in Shibuya. That is the
That's
one.
where most of the nightclubs are. I
Oh,
mean, there are other places, but like if you're looking for house music, more like underground stuff, this is the place to go.
oh, and they got
Shibuya.
food. Let's go. They got some good looking food there. All right.
Yeah, it's like a cafe as well, I guess. I haven't gone there like during the day.
I love it. All right. Put it on the bucket list, y'all. General Moses and Saeri headlining. Well, I guess you can have the headliner. It's your idea. I'll open up for you at Or. Ooh, that looks cool. Um, and then what's like the granddaddy like biggest venue in
So there's one called Womb, WOMB. That's been around for a really long time, and usually when like a famous house artist come, they will play here. Um, this is a pretty relatively big
Oh
club. I
wow.
think there are like four levels. Um, yeah, I
Welcome to
go
the
there.
womb. Nice. And then
Yeah,
the last thing I said, and Sam Troy, you're getting multiple shout outs today. So we love you, man. Where is he at? He's like over here, right?
Fukuoka.
Yeah. So that is I
Like
guess
way, yeah,
he could
yeah.
take
So,
he could take the subway to you, but that's gonna
there
be
you go.
what 3 hours on the subway, maybe more. I don't even know.
Subway, I don't know. I think you can. Oh no, I think you have to fly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how big I mean, in my mind, I forget how big Japan is until I look at it on a map. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's still a massive country. So that's cool. Saeri, and I don't remember if I shared this in my interview with Sam, but I've been to like, I don't know, 15, 16 different countries at the most. And
Mm,
really the one that stood out to me where it's like, if I had to start my life over from scratch, no friends, no family, no resource, no nothing, just like pick a place to like start from scratch and do life. I really, based on my experience, I would go with Japan. I had a really good 10 days there, and it was clear to me that everybody is like respectful, generally speaking, right? Very respectful, well
yeah.
disciplined, everyone's clean. Um, or like everyone's clean. Like everything, everyone is clean and
Everyone's
everything is
clean.
I hope everyone's clean. Uh, but also what really blew my mind was I remember I don't know, I was out walking around and I noticed, multiple times there was kids got to be between the age of like 3 and 6, kind of like walking to school independently with like no parents. Like that, you do not see that. You don't see that in North America, I'll tell you that. But it's because of how safe it is for the most part there. So, um,
Mm,
really cool country. Everyone go to Japan and hit up Saeri if you're
yeah.
there.
DM me on Instagram.
Cool. All right. So I know you said you got a bunch of music, everything going on right now. What's the best way everyone can follow you, keep in touch? And is there anything that you are working on right now that you would want to like give everyone a heads up on?
Not in particular actually, but I'm trying to do more social media. So follow me on Instagram. It's saeri.music. And sometimes I tweet, mostly myself, but you can find me on Twitter as well.
Nice.
Or
Yeah,
X.
go follow her, guys. I did see. I love what you did. You did something with like Chris Lake where it looked like you and Chris Lake.
Oh,
It looked like you guys did a photo shoot
yeah,
together.
I was like, this is just copying his profile pic. But I was like one day.
Check out her Instagram. I honestly, for a second, I thought that she did a photo shoot with Chris Lake. I'm like, whoa, how did she do that? And then I read the caption. I'm like, okay, that was good. That was a really good marketing move that you did there. So, um, yeah, bravo, Saeri. Good talking to you, everyone. Oh, by the way, go check out her latest record, "Lose Yourself." It's on the Leaders of the New School compilation with Toolroom. It's right before mine. If you're listening in order, actually, we go back to back, so that was pretty cool. Didn't
That's
realize that
cool.
until we hit record today. But yeah, Saeri, thank you for coming
Yeah,
on the
thank you for
show.
having me.
Yeah, sharing your background with us, investing your time with us. Really appreciate it. I'm
Mhm.
gonna get to work on my spreadsheets now.
Yeah, you should.
Thanks.
It's great. It keeps you motivated too.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
like forces you to work harder.
yeah, exactly. What more do we have to live for?
Yeah,
Just talking to someone
yeah.
about that today. Cool. All right, Saeri, you rock. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you are on YouTube or on Instagram watching, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Wherever you get your if you're listening audio only, drop a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. You guys rock. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.